Hey everybody, Dr. Ben Atkins here, and welcome to Big Money Friday. This one's important. This one, if you are just joining us for Big Money Friday for the first time, welcome. Every Friday we meet and we talk about big things you can do in a small amount of time that create a giant impact for yourself, for your businesses that you work with. Today we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart. It's how to run a local launch and help small businesses win big this year. Here's the thing. If you are the kind of person who wants to make sure that when you sign up a customer for your agency, your digital agency, or let's say you're running a business yourself and you want to get a big win right now, like fast within the next 2 to 4 weeks, you're in the right place today. That's what this is all about. These local launches, this is how you deliver tons of attention to a business, how you deliver a huge cash infusion, and how you set them up to have a monster year from really putting together something that is not that hard these days, because we have a roadmap, and that roadmap we're going to talk about today. So let's dive in, let's get into it. Let's talk about this local launch. Let's rock this Big Money Friday. And like I said, I will have you guys in and out of here in under an hour with a big thing that you can go take and use in your business. So let's get into it. Now, before we start today, I want you to lock in a thought. And when you get this thought, when you read it, when you consume it, type the number 1 when this sinks in, making sure that everybody gets it. You can grow any business if you're willing to give people what they really want. And something that everybody really wants is something to look forward to, period. Does that make sense to you guys? Give me a number 1 if that makes sense to you guys. You can do some amazing things in marketing for yourself, for businesses that you work with, if you know how to give people this one thing. And the one thing that just about everybody out there wants is something to look forward to. Would you guys agree with that? Like, how many of you feel like that is like a driving force with your life? It's a driving force with everybody. And this is the thing. If you understand in your marketing that people are actually looking for something to look forward to, you can do some pretty powerful things. Okay, so lock that in, keep that thought in the back of your head, because that is the underlying crux of everything we're going to talk about today. Okay, so let's talk about this. An important lesson I learned when I was getting started with my agency, when I was getting started with my business. All of these things kind of came around the same time. One of the most important things to growing a successful digital agency is being able to get your customer a big win early. Would you guys agree? Give me a number 2 if you agree with that statement. A number 2 if you agree with that statement. If you can sign up a client for whatever service you're signing them up for, but you can deliver a big win for them early, meaning something where they're like, this person knows how to bring the heat, this person knows how to make it rain, then this person is going to stick around with you for a very long time. They're going to keep spending money with you because they understand that the money that they spend with you turns into a lot more money for them. And that's what this is all about. How do we deliver those early wins? And that's what we're going to talk about. So how many of you would like to know how to get that big early win for your agency customers on demand? Like literally anybody you sign up, you are able to deliver an early win for them that's big. Okay, well, you're in the right place today, so that's good. Let's talk about what we're going to be talking about in the next couple minutes. In the next half hour, we're going to talk about this. What's a local launch, and why is it such a huge way to deliver results for your agency customers this year? Why is this launch concept that maybe seems overly complicated to a lot of folks, even though it's not? Why is it such an important thing? And really, what is it? From here, part 2, the ideal business types to run local launches for. And I have a big S there because there's lots of types that we can do this for. So that S, meaning plural, we really want to stress that. Part 3, the roadmap to a monster local launch event. And then part 4, how to get your first local launch client and lock in a 5 to 10K deal. How do you do that? How do you do those things? And how do we do that like in the next couple weeks? If you're not doing it yet, how do you lock it in? How many of you would like to know that every single client on your roster, every single client that you got something started with right now is going to turn into $5,000 to $10,000 for you this year? How many of you would love to know that when you sign someone up, it's a $5,000 to $10,000 thing that's going to be in your business the next little bit? Yeah, right. Like this, that's when you know that your customers turn into that, or that you have the ability to turn all your customers into that. It's good. A lot of you are like me. You love these clients. They're going to pay you $100, $200, $300, $400, $500 to $1,000 a month. How do you make sure that they're paying you $500 to $1,000 a month? How do you make sure that they are really in that $5,000 to $10,000 range and you got them locked? That's what this is going to be about. So that's what we're going to be covering the next little bit. If you're ready to rock, give me a number one in the box. Give me a number one in the box so I know you're good. I know you're ready to jump in, and we're going to dive right into this. Okay, so let's get into it. Part one, what's a local launch? And why is it such a huge way to deliver results for your agency customers this year? Now, before I get into local launches, I'd love for you guys to just sort of sit back right now and tell me, because you guys know more about launches than maybe you even think. Let's talk about how this works online. You guys have seen online launches. Can you guys give me some common characteristics of online launches? Like online businesses, everybody here has probably been a part of an online launch. Okay, so we got JV emails. That's one. Okay, what else we got? What else we got? Do we typically have a lot of anticipation, a lot of lead up, a build up, right? So we got some build up. A lot of times with launches, we have something that's given away for free early on, or a discount early on to sort of build a list, which that list will then be turned into something that's big, right? Like we're doing pre-list building, right? So we're doing a lot of list building early on. And that list is going to help us when the launch actually happens. We're doing a lot of build up. We're doing a lot of things to get people hyped for what's coming. And then we open up the launch. It's open for a few days, and then it's like a big deal. The hype after it opens is typically, hey, we're going to close this thing, and then you can't get in. Would you guys agree with all those things? Is that like, just from a really, here's a bunch of pieces that we know apply, that kind of feels familiar, right? Is there anybody here that is not a familiar thing for you all? Like everybody here, this is what we've been a part of, right? This is what we've been a part of. We've been immersed in it, but a lot of us don't think about how to do this in settings outside of online marketing. And when we look at somebody doing this in online marketing, we think, oh man, this is difficult, it's complicated. There's no way that I can do this. Maybe you're like, it's just me here. You have to have a team to do this stuff. How could I do this for myself? How could I do this for a small local business? And the thing is, a launch doesn't have to be this monstrous thing that you have to have a team. You have to have a ton of JVs. You don't have to have any of that stuff. At a very local level, a launch can be done in a very powerful way. And so let's talk about this. What is a local launch? Simply put, we help the business create an event that will help get people excited about them. Okay, and I want you guys to think about this before I move on to the next piece of this. Really, a lot of us think about a launch as a way to get a product out there, and that's fine. But what I want you guys to think about is, have you ever thought about how much attention a launch actually generates, not just for the product that's being launched, but for the brand that's behind it? You guys ever think about that? One of the big reasons we do launches is not just to sell a product, it's to get a ton of attention aimed at us all at once. Give me a one if that makes sense to you. Give me a one if that makes sense. It's getting a ton of attention for the business. This is what a lot of people don't think about. They think the launch is just to promote this new product, but it's really to get attention for the brand. So really, we want to create an event that will help people get excited about the business and really put them at the forefront of their industry. We want a product, service, or event that is going to get people to be massively excited about what we've got coming, not just for the launch, but for the future. So far, so good. Make sense? Makes sense? Yes? This is kind of coming together. So when you think of a launch, don't think of like, oh my gosh, I've got to, it's a product that comes around once in a lifetime. That's not it at all. It's an event, a product or service that we can build something behind that puts a lot of attention on the business, okay? A launch isn't just about the event though, it's an excuse to put some hype behind the business. Now I'm gonna tell you the most important thing you'll learn today. Please pay attention to this slide, please pay attention to this concept. It's not this launch, it's not about waiting for something that is launch worthy or a business type that fits best. It's about being the person that helps create something that's launch worthy to have an excuse to launch. What I do really, really well for my local clients, when I talk to them, a lot of times, if I were to mention something like this, they're like, well, we don't really have anything that is that exciting. A lot of my job is just to show them how to build something out of what they've already got that will get people hyped and put a lot of attention on them. Most every business I've ever worked with thinks that their business is extremely boring. Would you guys agree with that? Like most of these business owners, because it's what they do every day, it's the same product that they're peddling day after day. Like, what are you going to do for a chiropractor? What are you going to do for a restaurant? What are the things that you're going to do? A lot of these businesses think this is just boring. There's nothing exciting about what I do. I just do it and I do it well. But the idea here is you all are a different breed. We're marketers. We know that our job is to take something that maybe everybody else sees as pretty benign, pretty boring, and to build that thing into something that is launch worthy. Okay? The point here is a launch is a great excuse to suck all the air out of the market. So all of the local market, it's to suck all the marketing air out of that, all of the attention, and make your business or the business that you're helping the center of attention. And you do that by creating out of thin air, and it's not really out of thin air, it's something they already have, and putting hype behind it, okay? Now, yes, it's a great way to make your business the center of attention, but let's not ignore this fact. It's also a great way to create a massive cash infusion for a business. Do you think launches inject a ton of cash into a business at once? What do you think? Do you think a launch has the ability to inject a ton of cash into a business at once? Yes, it translates all that attention that we're getting into a cash event. And so I want you guys to think about this and really lock this into what a local launch is. It's a way for us to take a common product or something that they've already doing, tweak it a little bit so that it gives them the ability to attract a ton of attention and inject a ton of cash into their business. Does this make sense? Give me a yes if this makes sense so far. Give me a yes if this makes sense so far. So I don't want you guys to think that a launch is some crazy event that comes out of the Ethereum and that's not it at all. Every single day, you can take very common things, and if you do it the right way, you can turn them into something that's big. Now, please note, a launch is more than just the attention and the cash infusion. Okay, I got to say this. It's more than just this. It's about a long-term strategy post-launch, and this is how we get paid a lot, but more on that in just a few. Right now, though, let's talk about the types of businesses a local launch is great for. Okay, so part two, the ideal business types to run local launches for. Here's the thing. I've not found a local business that I couldn't do something like this for, but let's jam on a few of these. Okay, so let's jam on a few of these and let's talk about a few of these things that that a launch is good for. So can I tell you guys a secret? So you guys, you see where it says Valentine's Day massage special on your screen right now? Type a number 1 if you can see that, just making sure I haven't screwed the slides up. Can I tell you a secret that you have to promise not to tell anybody else that is going to change the way you look at launches? It's going to change the way that you look at a lot of things. Can I tell you a secret behind how we made a massage that was an everyday kind of massage special? Like, I had a massage therapist, they were in my office, they were very good, they did massage a little bit different, but they called their massage a massage, right? They called their massage a massage. What do you think I did to create hype and to launch them, even though they've been working in my office over a year doing the exact same thing? What do you think I did? And we could put, and you can do this for Valentine's Day, you can do whatever. Josephine just nailed it, by the way. If you want to know, type the word secret in the box right now. If you want to know how we made this launch worthy, you're going to laugh at me, but it worked. You're going to laugh at me, but it worked. We sat down, here it is. We sat down and we gave the massage a special name. So instead of it just being the same massage that you could get anywhere in town, this particular massage had a special name. The special name, of course, related to the kind of massage that it was, but nobody else out there had this massage. Now, did we have all of the other massages that everybody else in town had? What do you think? Do you think we absolutely had a menu of massages that everybody else had? Of course we did, but we had this one massage. We had this one massage that was absolutely the most expensive massage that we had. It was very, very much different in some of the things that were done during the massage. And I just mean there was more stretching. Come on. There was more stretching. There was more stretching than just the massage in this massage, but it worked out really, really well. And the idea was we launched it around Valentine's Day. What do you think happened? What do you think happened? We gave it a special name. It was our most expensive massage. We launched it around Valentine's Day. What do you think happened? Of course, we did some build-up. But let me ask you a question. Do you think our massage special did better, or do you think that our competitors' massage specials for Valentine's Day did better? Yeah, we killed it. We killed it because we gave people a reason to spend more money. We gave them something that they couldn't find anywhere else, and we tied it around another time when we knew people were going to be spending money on something like this. Does everybody understand how we did this for my chiropractic office / massage therapy before I give you another example? Yeah? So far, so good? Which also sort of gets into bringing back a product or service. Let me ask you guys something. How many of you are highly aware of a product launch that happens with a local fast food restaurant, local to just about everybody out there, every single year? Every single year. It's a launch. It happens every year. You guys nailed it. A few of you are in the chat already saying it. Guys, the McRib is back. The McRib is back. And every time the McRib comes back, it's like a little mini product launch. Do you guys know what dictates when the McRib comes back? I don't know if you guys know what dictates when the McRib comes back, but it's actually very clever. It's actually very clever. Nobody has really locked in. It's really locked in. But the McRib comes back, you guys, when the prices of pork drop. I shit you not. I kid you not. You could get the McRib anytime, really. They could just charge more for it. But when the prices of pork drop, that's when the McRib comes back. And every single time the McRib comes back and they do a little mini product launch, listen, the McRib's not that good. Like, I like the occasional McRib. It's not that good, but there's something about the event that makes, and I'm getting a few how dare yous in the chat right now. But you guys understand what I'm saying with this, right? How many of you feel like that particular restaurant has used that strategy, the launch, bringing a product back from the dead effectively? Whether you're into that food or not, like that's beside the point. Give me a number one if you understand how effective that strategy is. And they do it for the same product every single year. Every single year, it's effective. You can do that in any local business. It doesn't have to be a chain. So, releasing a new album for a local band. Why? Why would a local band, because listen, guys, you may think, who cares about a local band releasing music? But people need something to get excited about. People need something to get excited about. Do you think the local band does better if they just release it on the fly one day, or do you think it's better if they give you a few weeks build up? Now, what happens if coinciding with that local band releasing that album, you tie a local business in with it, like a restaurant that they're going to perform at to have their party, or a local chiropractor who's behind it? Like this is stuff that a lot of people don't think about, but you can get behind something like this and also tie it in with the small local business, and it'd be a huge deal for both the band and the business. Give me number three if this makes sense so far, these three examples that I put on your screen. Okay. What about a cause for a charity that's behind a central figure, like a particular person that's gone through that thing that the charity's behind, that people get behind in droves. You see it all the time. A limited time gym membership, meaning we've never offered this before. We may never offer this again. But if you sign up now, you lock in this rate. You lock in this deal. Now, here's the thing. All of this works because you create something that people want to look forward to. Okay? Does this make sense? Give me a big yes if this makes sense so far. The power of launches is that you are teasing people that something's coming. You tease them a little more, and then you tease them every single day. You open it, you give them a limited time to get it, and then you close it down, and you actually close it down. The key is, in short, you can create these for any type of business as long as you have someone who is ready to grow and doesn't mind working with you. Any business that's willing to do this kind of thing, you can explode their business for them. Now, where do you find these kind of people? Where do you find these kind of people? You find them, I've preached this to you guys for a long time. I know a lot of you are crushing it by working with these kinds of people. Do we go after people that are struggling, or do we go after people that are already doing well on their own? Who do we go after? If you want to win. If you want to win and get easy wins, you go after people that are doing well already. Because people that are doing well already are doing well already for a reason. I love customers who don't need me, but I can help them get to where they want to go faster. How many of you realize that that's what your agency should be about? No matter what it is you sell, your agency should be about going after people that don't need you, but if you become a part of their life, if you do a local launch, if you build a website for them, if you do their social media for them, it will help them get to where they want to go faster. You will get them there 3 months, 6 months, 12 months faster than they would on their own. Does all this make sense? That's who we're going after. That's who we're going after. Okay. Now, let me show you the secret behind why these launches, these little mini launches that we do, are so damn lucrative for you and the business you're helping launch. So part 3, the roadmap to a monster local launch event. Now remember, a launch is about more than just the initial attention, sales, and cash infusion. Let me ask you guys a big question. What do you think I really want when I do a launch for myself or for one of my agency customers? What do you think I'm really after? What do you think is the grand scheme of things? Hey, listen, that cash infusion, that's awesome. That exposure, that's awesome. But what do you think I'm actually after? The one thing that I'm actually after that changes every business forever and always, if they will just listen to me, if they will just implement, what do you think I am after? And if you listen to nothing else I tell you guys for the rest of the time that we hang out together, please listen to this, because this changed my life. It changed my friends' life that are in this industry. It changed every business that's ever listened to me. It's not just about the cash infusion. It's not about all the attention you get. The big thing that we're getting from these launches is this. I want the list. Every single one of you that is here right now is here because you're on a list. Would you agree? Would you agree? Every single one of you here right now is here because you're on a list. I'm gonna take a step here, and I'm gonna tell you, every single one of you are on a list because you participated in a launch in one form or another. Almost every single person here is here because they participated in a launch of one sort or the other. Now, some of it was a webinar type launch. Some of you, it was a launch that felt more like a low ticket launch, like where we were selling a product for under 50 bucks. Some of you are here because you were part of a 3-day launch. But almost everybody here is on a list because of a launch. Not everybody, but almost everybody here. Let me ask you a question. Do you understand, and type the number 3 if this makes sense, that the most important part of every single launch that gets done is the list that gets built from the launch? Okay, pay attention. This next is key. Why is the list from the launch so important? One, the list gives us the ability to deliver continued results year round. So listen, somebody pays me to do a launch, great, cool. Well, what do I do to keep making money with them after? The list gives me that ability, okay? Because I can continue to deliver results as long as I have a list. Why would you go to all the effort of sucking the air out of a market, getting all that attention? Yeah, the cash infusion's nice, but what if you could keep making money from that one launch? You guys know that there are times that I have lived off a launch for an entire year. You guys ever thought about that? That I could do one launch and live on it for the rest of the year because I know how to leverage the launch? Do you guys understand that there are some customers that I have done business with that literally their entire year was completely different than the 5 to 10 years they had prior because we did a launch at the beginning of that year. We did a launch in the middle of that year. The key is the launch gives us the ability to build a list, and the list gives the ability to deliver results year round. The list also turns a one-time cash infusion into a steady flow of cash that can be delivered on demand. What do you guys think I do for my customers when they need a cash to come in that day? When they need cash to come in that weekend? When they need cash to come in that week, what do? I don't relaunch. I don't do a new launch. I send out an email. I send out a text message. How many of you guys got a text message or an email today? My point is there any doubt that we live this? That we live this, not only for ourselves, but for our customers too. So it turns a one-time cash infusion into a steady flow of cash that we can deliver it on demand. It also gives me a natural way to show a customer what I can continue to do to offer value to their business and why they should pay me monthly. Also, though, it creates lifelong customers for the business because you can continue to give them a reason to come back. How many of you realize that when you have a list for your customer, it's easy to convince their customers to come back? Give me an amen if you get this. Listen, the number one thing that I want to do when I do one of these launches is build a list, because that list is the most valuable thing. So how do I get this list with a local launch event? How do I get this list with a local launch event? Those of you that like the screenshot, those of you that like to have little things blueprinted out for you that are worth millions of dollars, this next slide coming up is the one. Here's a 10,000 foot view. Here's the code. And obviously there's specifics to each of these boxes, but here's the code. 5 to 6 weeks out, we map what we're going to launch. We map kind of the pieces of the puzzle that are going to happen, but 5 or 6 weeks out, that's when we start planning a lot of this stuff for our local businesses. Now, for some of my online stuff, it takes longer than that, but for a local business, 5 to 6 weeks out is plenty. Give me a yes if you understand that. Okay. From there, the first launch announcement on social media, typically backed up by some ads, goes out 3 weeks ahead. What am I trying to do with that launch announcement? Build some hype, but also get them into a place where they can be alerted so they don't miss out. We're building up FOMO. Hey, this is something cool we're doing for this business. Hey, you want to make sure you're a part of it? Make sure you go sign up to this list so you don't miss out when it happens. Everybody understand, from launch announcement number 1, we're trying to build a list. Okay, so that's 3 weeks out. 2 weeks out, Launch announcement number 2, a little more hype, a little more detail behind what's going to happen. By the way, go in, sign up to this list. Okay? Sign up to this list. And then finally, the actual week leading to the launch, almost every single day, or at least every other day, we are going in and we're having posts on social. We have to the list we've already built. We're sending out emails, we're sending out texts to them, and we're letting them know this sale happens on this day. And then when the sale opens, we're using that list to get people to buy something for about 3 days. And then we are heavily hitting them up the last day to let them know they're running out of time to get in on that thing. From a 10,000 foot view, does everybody understand how we build the list and how we use the list to get the cash infusion? You don't have to understand all the pieces yet, but does this make sense to everybody? Give me a yes or number 1 if this makes sense. So the idea here is this. You get something out there, you build the list, you build the list, you build the list, you build the list, you use the list, you use the list, you use the list. And what happens is lots of attention, cash infusion, and when it's over, you get 3 very important things. Here's what you walk away with. You get a list of super invested leads. Everybody understand that first one? You get a list of super invested leads. Everybody understand that first one? Okay. Here's number 2. You get another list of actual buyers. Do you think it's important to segment those 2? Do you think it's important to segment those 2? Yep, it is. So you get a list of super invested leads, you get a list of actual buyers, and you get a cash infusion. Let me ask you guys a question. From an agency standpoint, do you think that that puts you in a good position with the business? Most importantly, you get a happy customer, a happy business owner that you worked with that's ready to talk about what's next. The best part, it's pretty plug and play. You just kind of use the cheat code. It's been proven over and over thousands of times before. You just have to know how to set them up. Once you know how to set them up, it's just rinse and repeat. Would you like the launch codes I use to drive $5,000 to $10,000 in sales in 72 hours for small businesses? Would you like this map of how we do it? Would you like to see the quote unquote cheat codes that we implement for businesses on a weekly basis that I started using way back when I was in the chiropractic office, way back when I was in the chiropractic office on boards for charities, way back when I was launching a band that was no good, but we wanted to get out there and a lot of people paid attention. It's a code that we've developed over a long period of time. When I got into internet marketing, I learned all this stuff. It was like, oh my gosh, this is what we've been doing. Let's add these pieces onto it. So we've refined it. So these are the codes that we use to generate $5,000 to $10,000 in sales in a very short period of time. Would you also like the launch codes that we use to build a massive list that can be used all year for these businesses to continue to profit off a little 72-hour launch that you did year round? Would you like to see how to get paid $5,000 to $10,000 to implement this for your customers per year? How to lock in a $5,000 to $10,000 per year client to implement this without you having to ask for $5,000 to $10,000 up front? I don't want you guys to have to do that. Would you like to know how to make sure you lock in a $5,000 to $10,000 client without having to ask for $5,000 to $10,000 up front? Give me a yes if you want to learn how to do those things. Okay, so let's talk about this. Part four, how to get your first local launch client and lock in a $5,000 to $10,000 deal, okay? Without having to ask for a $5,000 to $10,000 deal. Okay, so here's what we're doing. It's called the local launch code, and I want you to kind of come behind the scenes with me and see how we actually put this stuff together for a business, how we get it in front of a business, how we show them what we're doing, how we put it together in a way where they understand it, how we implement it, how we make sure that we get them $5,000 to $10,000 in value in the cash infusion, how we make sure that we build the list for them, how we set them up for success after the launch. Do I have your permission to kind of go into specifics of what we're going to be covering? Give me a yes in the box. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. Part one is I'm going to give you the full step-by-step technique, the 10,000 foot view. I'm going to show you exactly how we launch the product or service promotion for your customers, how we pick what we're actually going to do for the business, even if it's a boring business, how we put something together for this business that is launch worthy. And when we put this together, it can be used for just about any niche out there. Any niche out there that is in a local town, how we put this together. I'm not just going to show you the easy stuff like, hey, here's how you do it for a massage therapist. I'm going to show you how to do it for realtors. I'm going to show you how to do it for car dealerships. Hell, we've done stuff like this for funeral directors. I know that sounds weird. But when you understand how to do this the right way, you understand that launches don't necessarily have to do with your own product. It can be the most boring business in the world. And in part one, we're going to talk about how we put this together for just about any business out there, how you pick the product, how you start setting this up from there. Part two, we're going to talk about something important. It's what I call my 5K rule. I don't build any launch for a business that can't generate at least $5,000 to $10,000 for that business. Give me a 5K in the box if you understand that right now. What I'm going to show you is how we make sure, how we actually sit down and do the math so that we understand that when we do one of these things, it's going to bring $5,000 to $10,000 in revenue in for that business. Why is 5K so important for me to map this launch for? Why is 5K so important that we match this launch for? Why do you think that's big? Because when I'm selling them my future services for the year, I want to walk in and make sure they understand I've already made you the money. I've already made you the money that you're going to spend with me for the rest of the year. Oh, and I'm going to make you more money with the stuff we're doing the rest of the year, but I want them to have their whole year paid for with that launch. Give me a number 2 in the box if you understand what I'm going to be covering in the 5K rule in part 2 and how we map this out. We're going to be doing some math here, so don't be afraid. I'm going to be showing you how we build the math to make sure we're in a good spot. We don't guess. We make sure that we've got something that can generate 5K for. Okay? Now, part 3, how to build your customer's launch list. What software are we using? Are we using Roost? Are we using Customer Engine? How do we put these things together? I use both in different instances. I'm going to show you how we put these things together, how we build the list, how the lists come together, and how we make sure that those lists are set up for us to do big things moving forward. So we're going to go through how we build the list, how we build it pre-launch, how we build it as we sell things, how we put these things together so that we know that the people that are coming through are good leads and leads that are going to serve us the rest of the year. Give me number 3 in the box if you understand what we're going to be covering in part 3. Give me number 3 in the box if you understand that. Remember, if you can build a list for a business, that business will never, ever die. If you can build a good list for a business, that business will cease to have slow days. But most businesses don't know how to do it. You're going to understand how to do it with the launch and then what to do with that list after. From there, what's the roadmap? What's the full roadmap? How do we sit down and plan this with the business? How do we make sure the business is on board? How do we make sure the business knows what to do once the launch happens? How do we make sure that everything is in place so that it's comfortable for the business, it's comfortable for us, and we're ready to go from there? Also, how do we get the attention in the beginning? We're using a simple little social media ad. I'll show you how to put that ad together. I'll show you the exact text that's going to be on that ad that you can fill in the blanks with the business that you've got. If you understand what we're doing in part 4, let me know. Let me know. If you understand what we're doing in part 4, let me know. So far, so good? So far, so good? So we got one more key thing here. We got one more key thing that I want to make sure that this is important for those of you that actually run agencies. This is important for those of you that actually run agencies. Part 5 is how we make them an offer that they can't refuse, so that if you're an existing client, they're going to be in on this. If they're not an existing client and you want to use this as leverage to get someone to try you out, to get someone to get going with you, how do you get them to let you run a launch for them without you having to demand a ton of money up front? Does this make sense? Give me a number 5 in the box if this makes sense and you understand what I'm going to be teaching you in part 5 and showing you how to do, so that this is not a hard thing to get in front of somebody. It's not a hard thing where you're having to demand a ton of cash up front, but you know that when this goes well, you're going to position yourself for a lot of cash the rest of the year. So that's the part 5. That's what we're doing there. Now, that's not all. If you want, and this is optional, if you want, you also have a chance to dig into some of the exact funnels that we've used for our customers in the past. There's a basic package, there's an advanced package. If you get the advanced package, you're also going to get this. You're going to get my local restaurant funnel case study. So the launch funnel that we use for restaurants to actually blow this up. Now, whether you go with restaurants or not, trust me when I say you see this, and it's going to help you to build lots of different kinds of funnels. So we're going to show you how we do something like this for a restaurant, what the funnel looks like, how we blow it up from there. Okay, now that's one type of them. Here's something that's a little different. A local health type funnel, okay? So a local health clinic launch funnel. If you're working with a health clinic, you're working with maybe a chiropractor, maybe a physical therapist, maybe you're working with somebody that's doing something a little bit different. And you guys know what I'm talking about. There's folks out there that do some very different things with health these days. How do you launch those kinds of things? How do you actually get attention and suck all the air out of the market with those things? If you get with the advanced package, I'm going to be showing you exactly what we do for those. From there, local charity. How do you build one of these things for a local charity so that you can do a launch for a local charity and it be something that absolutely drives a ton of traffic, it gets a ton of attention, and it brings in a ton of donations for the charity right away? We'll be going through that. And then finally, because some of you are like me and you dabble in stuff like this, local band. How do you launch a local band or a local artist of sorts? How do you do something for them that gets a ton of hype behind what they're doing? And so if you get the advanced package, you get one of those, you get all of those 4 things. I guarantee you between those 4 funnels that you're going to see behind the scenes on, you're going to see what we're actually teaching in the main course. You're going to see it implemented. I guarantee you'll be able to apply that to whatever you go after. Now, there's one catch. You guys know that we like action takers. We like folks that are jumping in on this now. The catch is we're doing 100 of these seats at a certain price, okay? We're doing 100 seats at a certain price. This is something that you guys, I think, can look around and understand that people that teach how to do launches correctly charge a lot of money to do those things, to show you how it works. But for the 100 that get in, we're going to be doing something special. I got a really good deal for you if you'll do me a favor. Can you guys do me a favor? Can you guys do me a favor? Super simple favor. Most of you have probably already done this favor for me. Here's the favor. Super simple. Every week when we do one of these Big Money Fridays, we send out a text message to remind people that we're doing the Big Money Friday. I don't like bothering you guys if you don't want to be bothered. But if you want to be on our Big Money Friday list, at the end of this call, I'm going to give you a link. And if you sign up for the Big Money Friday list, where we have permission to remind you about the call coming up, I'm going to give you a great deal if you're one of the 100 today. Sound like a good deal? Does that sound like a good deal? Yeah, simple. By the way, anybody else realize what I just did and what I asked you to do? That's very much in theme with, no, you don't have to re-sign up for the list if you're already there. Does everybody understand that what I just did that's very much in theme with what I'm teaching you how to do inside of this? Building that list, because it's important. It's important. Can you launch a local music band too? Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what I'll be teaching you how to do, because I happen to be in a local music band, and I'll show you how we get attention, more attention than we deserve for the kind of music that we put out. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. If you guys will sign up for that at the end, we got 100 seats for this. If you want one of the 100 seats, do me a favor right now. I want you to type "let me in" the box right now. Type "let me in" the box right now. That lets me know that you want in. You want one of these 100 spots. You don't want to get shut out. You want to be a part of the local launch code. You want to get a seat inside for this. And listen, make sure you lock this down now. All right, here's the URL, you guys. Go right now. It's spskr.com/launch money. It's in your box right now because my team is on it. Jump in, grab that. Make sure you get one of the 100 seats that we've got. When the 100 seats go away, we may let a few more people in, but it's going to be triple the cost, period. Just so you know, it will be at least triple the cost, if not more, if we let more than 100 in. But listen, get the deal. Go easy on yourself. Give yourself a nice gift this Friday. Give yourself a nice gift as you go into the weekend. Here's all I ask. Once you get one of these 100 spots, here's what I want you to do. I want you to make sure that you don't use what we're going to teach you inside of this for evil. Can you promise me you will not do anything that's evil with what I'm going to show you inside? Because you could. This stuff is powerful. This launch stuff changed my life. It's changed my client's life. Just don't use it for evil. Okay? Now, could this be done for life insurance agents? Absolutely. Absolutely. So don't use this stuff for evil. Do me a favor. If you've made it in so far, type number 9 in the box right now. Type number 9. If you made it in, you're good. I know you're on the inside. Go to spskr.com/launch money. spskr.com/launch money. Make sure you secure your spot right now. Don't wait to the end of the call. Don't wait till these possibly go away. Pharmacy, yeah, I don't see why you couldn't do this for pharmacy. You don't want to position yourself with the pharmacy stuff where you're obviously giving away drugs. You have to position where you're selling other things. But yes, for a pharmacy, it works, and it's a great way to get a ton of attention and stand out for the pharmacy. So hope you got that. spskr.com/launch money. Tutoring business. Oh, absolutely. Okay, so do me a favor. If you made it in, type the number 9 in the box right now. That's going to give me some general idea, because I don't watch the sales as we're going through that. My team does. My team shuts it down if we get past a certain line. Give me a number 9 if you guys are already in. That way I can welcome you. I want to welcome Johnny. I want to welcome Virginia. Welcome Brian. Welcome Stefan. Nice. Will this work for roofers? Yes. Yes. I don't see any problem with doing this for roofers. Med spas are easy. Yes, Peter. Med spas are super easy when it comes to doing launches. Let's see. Ethan says, I have a domain name for my agency, but no site on it. Do you have a theme or template I can upload to my server and use it for my agency, please? Isan, and I got to make sure I learn how to pronounce your name, but here's what you need to do. You need to sign up for a NetEngine account. If you don't know what NetEngine is, reach out to my team. They'll sign you up for an individual account, and that's how you run your agency site. I have the template that I use. You can use what I use for my agency, but it's a NetEngine thing. So there you go. This is a great question. Would this work for MLM reps? My wife sells doTERRA essential oils. Fred, yes. MLM is actually one that I've done a couple years ago, and it did really, really well. David, what tools in terms of software are we using for the launch? David, I use Customer Engine. I use NetEngine, or I use Customer Engine, and I use Meet Roost specifically for the list building stuff. Of course, I use Net Engine and Social Rotation for some of my other pieces of this, but you don't have to have those. The bare essentials is make sure you've got a list building tool like Customer Engine, or you got a list building tool like Meet Roost. You don't have to have both, but you need some sort of list building tool to make this work. And if you don't have a Net Engine or Customer Engine, you'd also have to have a landing page tool to go with it. But if you have a Net Engine if you have a Customer Engine or a Meet Roost, you've got the landing page stuff to go with it. So that's the basics, guys. I'm going to show you how to do this with the landing page. I'm going to show you how to do this with, you know, the only other thing I would tell you is if you're selling online or you want to take payments online, have a Stripe account. That'll get you pretty much to where you want to go. Okay. And I'm going to be covering primarily local launches here and how we launch local things. And I'll show you kind of how that works. So here's the thing. I told you guys I'd keep you for an hour. Here's what I want you to do. For those of you that wanted the deal, the deal here, I would like for you guys to go to this URL. This is the list. This is the alert list. If you're not a part of this list, go to sbskr.com/BMF alerts. That's your Big Money Friday alerts. We'll make sure we get you there. Past that, I've got time for some questions, but I'm done. I told you guys I'd get you in and out on an hour, and that's where we're at. So let me answer some of the questions that we've got in the chat right now. Let me see what else we've got. Let's see, Gator. Hey, Gator, what's up? Gator says, how do you capture the buyers list? They would have to purchase online via the funnel rather than person. No. Here's the thing that we do, Gator. Even if they purchase in person, we get a list of everybody that purchases the deal, Gator, and then we actually go into the system manually and just make sure we segment the list that way. So the buyers list can be segmented manually as long as you've got certain pieces of information. And typically, Gator, that comes down to the name or the phone number or the email address. So good stuff. Good stuff. David says, thanks, Dr. Man. Always adding value. I'm grateful to be here. David, I'm happy that you're here too, man. It's always good to see your name, and you add a lot of value in the chat when we do any of this stuff. So I really appreciate you. What else we got here? Stefan, I saw that I have the only advanced. Do you have to have the standard package? No, Stefan, if you get the advanced package, it bundles in with the main package. So if you get the advanced package, not only do you get the advanced, you get the main package as well. That's like the bundle of both. So good stuff. Diane, no, I built in the discounts on it. I don't do one of these things where you have to sign up and then it sends you a discount code. I build the discount code in to the pricing and just trust that you'll sign up. I'm the one that needs to take the risk. Like, you guys could get the deal and not sign up, but I'm taking that risk. So, you know, that's the way I feel about it. All right, so listen, I don't want to keep you guys any longer. I just got one more thing to say. Make sure you get one of the 100 spots. Go to spskr.com/launchmoney and listen. I want to make sure that you guys do this next thing, whether you got in today or not. Have a great weekend. Have a wonderful weekend. Go do something nice with your family. Go do something nice with your friends. Go say hi to somebody that is new that you don't know. If it's a business owner, cool. That's even better. Go eat somewhere you've never eaten before. Talk to somebody about what you do in your agency. Listen, what you guys do in your agency is a service to others. It's not just a service to you. So get out there and really spread the word. You guys deserve it. But listen, this weekend, get out there, have some fun with you. All right. Guys, have a good weekend. Thanks for being a part of Big Money Friday. It's the best way to go into the weekend. I hope you had fun too. Replay will be out just as soon as we can get it out. We're working on that right now. In the meantime, thanks. For those of you that made it in, congratulations. If you haven't made it in yet, make sure you do before we get to 100. All right, be good. I'll talk to you soon.